Welcome back to episode number 12 of the 7-Minute Cardologer, here with me, Helmar Rudolph. Continuing with episode number 11, where we were talking about the meter level of the cards, the suits, and the planets. I'd like to spend a moment, before I go into my 7 minutes, I'd like to spend a moment again on that meter abstract side, and that the suits represent the natural rhythm because it's spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and the cycle that nature goes through. The numbers or the pips is the human cycle because everything starts with a desire and ends with mastery, only sort of to start with the desire on another level, in another element. And then the planets representing the cosmic or the divine cycle, that everything is mental. You know, Hermetic principles, the universe is a mental creation. And that we see represented in the planet Mercury, where everything, coming from the sun, first emanation is planet Mercury, communication, fast, quick, all mind. And then sort of from that mind element comes a separation into Venus and Mars. Those two polarities, they are pulsating, they are creating more in Jupiter than the order and the structure that is absolutely necessary. And that's quite difficult for many people because they don't want to be fenced in, they don't want to be rigid. They want to keep sort of living the 5, which is the number of man, but at the same time it's a 5th planet, Saturn. But they all need order and structure in order to have a certain level of reliability, certain things that they can fall back on without having to think about it all the time. But then again, Uranus creates renewal. Uranus creates change. And that's what is necessary once those structures have become too rigid. And once the turmoil has been created, the breakdown has been created, the change has been created in Uranus, then obviously we need a healing element, and that's where Neptune comes in always. So when those cataclysmic or catastrophic or life-changing events have taken place, automatically the divine brings in healing, brings in new visions, brings in another element. But then again, that is often detached from reality, which is why we need another one which comes on the other side of Neptune, and that is obviously with your birthday, then your Mercury period, where you see things much clearer and your mind is operating once again. So just that sort of to begin with. Now I'd like to have a look at the pips again, because repetition is the mother of all success. So let's look at them briefly. The ace has the desire. The ace is that originating impulse. So you need to equip yourself with that creative, determined, single-minded and self-centered, powerful impulse, because you want to initiate things if you want to affect change. You cannot wait for change to come to you, that change that you like, unless you initiate it. So you need that ace quality, that go-getting energy in your makeup. And you need this on the emotional side, on the mental side, on the material side, and on the spiritual side. You also need 2 energy, because you need union energy. You can't do everything by yourself, so you need to cooperate. There's also, after that aggressive ace quality, you need a passive, more conservative, more preserving 2 energy, because you also need time to recover after that 1 energy. But once you've recovered, then the 3 kicks in, and the 3 creates more, because the 1 and the 1 that have created 2 adds another 1, makes it 3. And that's where diversity comes in. Diversity on the love side, because 2 loves make a 3rd love, on the mental side, on the material side, on the spiritual side. But even that, it cannot stay long, because then comes the 4 with that ordering, structuring, stable, and very satisfying energy. The 4, the square, the house, we also need that, because then we need to be passive again. Live and let live, order and structure, before we then enter a new period where we expand, where we go out again in the 5. So you also want that 5 energy, very, very mental energy, very adventurous energy, very unstable energy, because also 5 is the sine wave. It's got 3 points on the line, one up and one down. So 5 is change, and we're always seeking to improve and change, and 5 plays a vital part in that game or in that system. But then again, sort of once we've expanded, once we've gone to all 4 corners of the world, we want to come back home and we want to share it with others. We share it with our family, share it with our close and their dear ones, and share it with other people. And that sort of brings that peaceful social energy of the 6 that we also want to have as part of our makeup. We also have to be careful that not to become too complacent and lazy, because the 6 brings that with, just as much as it brings with responsibility and compromise, because it's not just us in the 5 anymore, it's others in the 6. And from there we go inside, inwards, 7 energy, spiritual energy, because that is a very important aspect that very few people do these days, where they turn inside. They're always looking for outside things. They never really take the time to go inside, to turn inwards and go into the silence, because the silence is so important, because the silence is the connection to the divine, and the divine has all the answers that we need sort of for the questions that we do have. And that inner process leads us to the 8. That's power. 8 is Acht in German, is Macht. 8 is power. And you want the power because you need to move forward. You want to solidify things. You want to have reliable, dependable elements in your makeup as well. But then again, the 9 comes and says, okay, be generous. You've developed so much power. Just give it away. Give it to other people. Be generous, because it's called give and take. And give and take means that you give first, but in order to be able to give, you need to acquire it. And that's where the process up until the 8 is there for. So you are generous, because from the giving comes the taking, and the taking then leads you to the next level, and that is the manifestation, the amassment of things on the level of the 10. The manifestation, no longer about yourself, but about others, because the love you want comes from others, the money you want comes from others, the knowledge you want comes from others, and the spiritual enlightenment, the insight also comes from others. Supposedly others, they're just projections of your consciousness, if you want to look at it from that angle. Then we enter the realm of the court cards, the Jack being the androgynous energy, neither male nor female, both elements combining, always interested in improving, in changing things, wanting to have the perks of the court, but none of the responsibility. So they're the princes and the princesses in royal life. They are part of the court. They are no longer part of the pips, the 1 to 10, but they are part of the court. But they don't have the responsibility. But it's vital energy. It's that renewal energy on a higher level. Then comes the queen, next to the king with 12 and 13, with a service-oriented, motherly, loving energy that is always necessary next to the more regal, royal, responsible, and often harsh and sometimes one-sided energy of the male and the king. So the queen and the king are next to each other. Yes, they are in sequence, 12 and 13, but in that element or in that realm, they are on the same level, and it's absolutely vital that they are, because often the queen softens down the king, and often the king gives more clarity and determination to the queen. So there you have it. That concludes our 12th episode. Once again, a little bit of repetition, but keep that in mind, because the cards from Ace to King repeat themselves throughout the suits. One is on the love side, on the emotional, on the relationship side. The other one is on the mental and the communication side. The other one on the material values side, and the other one on the spiritual lifestyle, work, and health side. So, as I mentioned before, it's just those 13 cards in those 4 suits that you have to learn. Really have to learn. And once you have acquired that knowledge, then you will have made great progress, because then you combine this with the planetary position they're in, which you've also once again learned in this episode, and then you can make the most of it. Thank you very much for paying attention, and sort of that leaves us leaves us rather with episode number 13, and I'll see you there next time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.